Hey everybody, Jesse James from Black Pork Lawn and Snow. Just want to do a real quick video today on Thanksgiving and why it is a great holiday and we should celebrate it every year. Okay, let's get started. I was going through my Facebook newsfeed and I noticed that a camera crew from some news source, I would think, went to a college campus and they was asking college kids if Thanksgiving was a good holiday, what their thoughts on it. And they said it was genocide, slavery, it was not good, so on and so forth. Now, I'm not a historian, I don't claim to be, but I do know that's all wrong. When the pilgrims left Holland and made their voyage over here, I believe they was on the ocean for 61 days, somewhere around there, was not a good voyage. It was cold, waters were rough, they all lived in the bottom of the, it was horrible, it was bad. Actually, over half of the people died. It was not good. We're talking filthy, nasty, not good. So, when they made their journey here, as soon as they stepped foot on land, they became friendly with the Native Americans. Actually, they became such good friends with them, they created a treaty. And that treaty lasted for 52 years. Now, they couldn't have done it without the other. There's things that we take today that they had back in the day. Now, when they first came here, they was actually a socialist nation. And they found that that didn't work because they were losing so much of their congregation that it's kind of hard to sustain that kind of an economy. So they became free trade. Capitalism in America was because of them. Secondly, we can also trace back public schools, because when they left Holland, they weren't allowed to read. They probably were allowed to read, but most people couldn't read or write, and they couldn't read the Bible. So the queen at the time would tell them what the Bible meant. She would interpret how it should be, and that's why they didn't believe that. So when they got here, they said everybody needs to be able to interpret the Bible at their own will. So we had public schools because of them. Moving on. So we have a treaty that lasted over 50 years. When they got land, they didn't steal the land from the Native American peoples. Actually, they bought the land. They bought every bit of the land. If you know anything about Massachusetts, this brings me into slavery. If you know anything about Massachusetts, you know it's so anti-slavery, especially the Pilgrims. See, the Pilgrims, when slave traders would come up from the south of Virginia, they would actually free the slaves and imprison the slave traders or the slave owners. Now, Massachusetts has always been where all our great abolitionists come from. Massachusetts is probably one of the greatest states in this beautiful nation. When Frederick Douglass, Charles Sumner, John Quincy Adams, they're all great abolitionists. So no, they weren't slaveholders and they weren't bad people. Actually, speaking of slaveholders, a weird story. Anthony Johnson, I think his name was an indentured servitude that came to America, and he gained his freedom and became very wealthy and very prosperous over here. I don't remember the years, but just look it up. It was actually a black man that came over here, was living in indentured servitude, gained his freedom, became successful, and he had taken in another black man that was from indentured servitude. He actually took it to a court in Virginia and said, this man will never work his debt off. I want to own him. So in America, the first person to own another person for the remainder of their natural born life was a black man to another black man, which is odd. You don't hear about that ever. I don't know why that's not taught. But Thanksgiving is a great holiday. It truly is. And there's just so much misinformation. The Pilgrims were not racist. The Pilgrims were not genocidal. The only time that a war started between them was when after this 52 years, that treaty got broke by not by the Pilgrim. No, the treaty got broke by a young Native American named Madicom, I do believe his name was, and that war was so bloody and so bad that per capita deaths were just worse than the Civil War. That's how much violence there was. It was so bad that the other Native Americans actually killed the warrior Madicom. I do believe that's what his name was. And that whole genocide, for lack of a better terms, against the Christians was against the Pilgrims. That was because they felt like they were losing their culture. the Native Americans and the Pilgrims were becoming so close and living side by side and buying and trading and sharing religion and ideas that he felt and other people felt that they were losing their warrior mentality. They were losing their culture. Now, like I said, I'm not a historian. I'm not anybody. If you want to look these facts up, go ahead. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. I just wanted to drop my perspective on it and let you know that, yes, when Abraham Lincoln said at the Thanksgiving, the proclamation of Thanksgiving should be a national holiday, which he was right. It was divine. It was a good thing. Thanksgiving is good. We should give thanks to God for everything we have, for people coming over here and sacrificing everything. We're not talking about Jamestown. America isn't Jamestown's founding. America's founding is Plymouth. That's where our founding is. The Civil War was the diaries of, this is why the North won. It's divine providence. They knew slavery was wrong. You can't treat people like that. Read the memoirs and diaries of William Bradford, the governor then. These are great documents. It's some all-American history. It's all out there. It's not genocide. It's not horrible, bad like what everybody says. This is not Virginia. This is Plymouth. These are the Pilgrims. These are good people, honest people, godly people. And that's what they stood by. They were hard individuals. And I gotta, even going in the Puritan, I'm not even going to go on to that, but if you like this video, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, let me know what you think. I just don't want to see a bunch of misinformed people, and help inform me if you will. Thanks. Later, guys.